Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Commons. I'm Maya Siobhan, and to my left,
Daniel Sushi, House of Commons.
Pamela Rouge, House of Commons.
Ellie Mola, House of Commons.
House of Commons. House of Commons. I swear, I can't read those sounds. She does. So today's topic is a serious one. We're going to be talking about the silent plague in the African American community, depression and suicide. So I'll open it up by saying that it's a silent plague that really plagues our community that we don't speak about, male, female, old, young, but it's very present. And we already have other things taking us out, but depression is silent. It's like we implode. So I'm going to pass it on to Inyi. So we'll do
Are we going to do like a beginning thing, or do you want us to just open up and just talk about it a little bit, or just what?
Just get a quick perspective.
I just think that as far as depression, and are we talking about depression and suicide as a whole umbrella of it, or just?
I say depression, and then the subtitle would be suicide due to depression.
So it's just, for me, it's when you think about in the African American community where we're placed as far as society goes, and you think about the opportunities that we're given, and you think about the fact that we're not a monolith. So me being an African American or African, and this other person being a black person, we have so many different types of complexities as a people, and so many things in society trigger those things that are basic to human life that we may not have as easily as everybody else, which puts us in a situation where we're not happy about where we are in life. Now, it also can be something that's and I hate to bring up slavery and all that, but we have something that has put us in a certain position and put us in a certain mind frame where, you're kind of in the defensive because of the way you've been treated. And I'm not talking about, oppression and all that. I'm just talking about even just to say within the last like 30 or 40 years, so it's like, it's a historic thing, and it's a rippling effect of how things have gone in this country, and it's the result is the PTSD of groups of people. And that PTSD is coming from the history that we have. That's just the most general thing I can get. And there are different details to why it's attacking our community in certain ways. Because Caucasians also have this issue, but they have it for different reasons. Asians probably have this issue, but they have it for different reasons. So it's not just a black thing, but it's a black thing for different reasons. And I think our job today is going to explore the reasons why African Americans feel like that is an out, or they get to that point. It's obvious why we would get to that point when you just open Facebook. But, it is. Sometimes people talk about, I saw a video, this lady was like, I just want to take a break from being black for one weekend. Because it's just being black. When you understand the scope of everything, and you look at what it's like to be black, and every black person knows, man or woman, when you get into, just when we walk into work, I don't want to go too deep because other people need to talk, but I'm just saying, like, when you go, just work daily, just everyday interactions daily, when I get into an elevator and somebody clutches their purse, or those kind of things, your view of your spirit.
You walk by and you hear in the car.
Exactly.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah. So this self-perception is not positive. So that's a summary of what I'm trying to say.
You want to say something? Mine is kind of, we're going to go deeper into the issue, but I think for a very basic foundation, you mentioned a lot of stuff that comes with what's behind us. But it's also the fact that, and I could be wrong, forgive me if I'm wrong, but sometimes it feels as if we cannot count on a fellow black person for empathy. I'm not asking for sympathy. I don't want you to cry for me or with me, but just understand why I'm crying. Right.
That's
without judging me, or without. I'm saying this from not just a black perspective, also African, and not just African. I'll speak for myself, Nigerian, right? It's I said this on one of the episodes before. I will talk to a frog that cannot help me before I would tell a Nigerian my actual issues.
Yeah.
Because from what I've seen, quite common, when you ask me how are you doing, it's not because you want to know how I'm doing.
Right.
It's because you want to take my information
Yeah.
and give it to somebody else.
Exactly.
So, and Idleland is the devil's workshop, and also you cannot harbor in your issues. You have to vent to someone.
Big time.
And too often, we can't count on ourselves to vent because it's just. I remember, I understand, like in a group of men, right? Black dudes, you'd be like, come on, son. If you cry, you open.
Never.
Which is we get it as men. I understand you don't want to be a crybaby, but it is important for you to be able to come to me and be like, yo, LD, this is something I want to talk to you about. Just give me a perspective. Just let me talk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And that's just a foundation of it. But there's so many different layers. There's also the layer of the reality in America is don't even think about hope. Because just don't even think about hope. I always talk about ground zero, where I keep my mind. I always remind myself every day, hey, yo, LD, all these things that you accomplish are great, right? But always remember that no matter how high the building is built, always remember the foundation is still there and it can come down anytime. So I'm not saying be scared of falling, but understand that falling is possible, and in your life as a black human being, you don't get carried back up like a lot of other people get carried up. So just keep those things in mind. But we'll talk about more stuff.
I mean, it is definitely an issue that affects the black community, and the sad part about it is that we don't feel that it's something that really affects us. It's something that we don't talk about it. Whenever we get depression or suicide, white person, it's always, other cultures. But the reality of it is that it is, it's going on, it's happening. Black people are killing themselves every day. Depression is an issue that affects the black community. The reason why I think we're so hesitant to have conversation about it is because during slavery, if you go back to slavery, people have this, you were pretty much not supposed to talk. You're supposed to be the strong person. You're just supposed to take whatever is happening to you and go through with it. So whenever people are going through phases in life whereby they feel like they're at the bottom part of life and they feel like they need to talk to someone about it, they're so hesitant to have that conversation because judgment is going to come across like, okay, you're a man, why you're crying, blah blah blah, get over it, but what we also need to understand is what are the things that are leading to this depression. And this goes back to, of course, the foundation. How strong is the foundation of that person's life? And it goes back to the root of childhood, from the day you came out of your mother's womb. That's where it starts from. And if that foundation wasn't built strong, and at some point in life it even got worse, then of course this human being is just going to end up in the extreme stage of depression. And people get to a point whereby the only option that they feel that they have now is just to take their own life. Sometimes someone just doesn't kill themselves because they just woke up yesterday and they want to die. It's something that they've been going through over and over. It's been playing them. And before suicide happens, people actually think about it. They say it several times. They say to people, I want to kill myself, I want to kill myself, I want to kill myself. So if those around them really care and really pay attention, those are clues that they're giving you, that there are stages that they're pretty much at the stage of depression, they're going through this stuff. So sometimes what we do as people is we really put on this blindfold and kind of, just like, are you crazy? People might just think it's a joke, but it's really not a joke. This is someone really telling you, like, I really feel like dying. And once someone gets to that stage, the next thing that's going to happen is you're just going to hear the news that they pretty much took their life. It's really, really sad, and and the sad part of it also that I just wanted to add is the fact that we don't believe in therapy.
That's what I was.
Whenever a black person, whenever I have this conversation with my friends, like, okay, if you're going through something, I think maybe you might want to go for therapy. Oh, therapy's not, just go to church, pray about it, let God take control. But sometimes you need that clinical conversation with another human being other than maybe a family or friend or someone else. Sometimes people just need to really talk about their problems, and like you mentioned, it's not everyone that you can really tell your problems to, especially in the black community. Our goal is to see each other fail. So hey, The next person will be very happy to have you telling them what's going on in your life and what's not right, and they're rejoicing, but in the face of it, they're giving you this smile, but really they don't give a damn. You know, so it's like, why would I even go and talk to this individual? At the end of the day, the result of it, it's not going to result to anything of a great advice or great encouragement or great sympathy or anything, or even a pat on the back and be like, you be all right, you know, you can bounce back from this. But instead, it's going to be hypocritical laughter and, you know, taking it to the next person and making it, you know, a gossip story. So it's...
to piggyback on what everybody said, I think it's about having an outlet. And as a black woman, I have different outlets. I can call Emma, let me tell you what happened, you know, and we can have a conversation about it. Or I can go to my best friend's house and lay on her couch and just cry it out. You know, I feel like as a woman, we have more of an outlet for certain things than black males do, because of that very reason that everybody's saying, like, you can't show weakness. There's no, you know, there's no empathy. There's no, you don't want to seem, you know, oh God, like I can't handle something, which goes back to how we were raised and how our ancestors were beat into, you know, we don't have problems and we're not hurt. I just think that we as a people, we have to understand the same struggle that you go through is the same struggle that I go through. Granted, it may be different, but we all bleed the same at the end of the day. We all have feelings for a reason. We all get sad. We all are happy. We all use things to make us happy. If I'm male, female, short, tall, fat, rich, or poor, you know, because there's rich people that are doing the same thing. But I feel like if we're able, and I think that they do it at rates that, I mean, which is crazy, because you would think money would, you know, which was an episode we did before, but I just want to say, like as a community, we don't seek out therapy. Therapy is Hennessy. Therapy is the club. Therapy is a strip club. Actually, certain aspects of that is okay. If, you know, I often tell a lot of my guy friends, like, listen, if you're not happy at home for whatever reason, just go to the strip club and just go there. Just to get that release, whatever you need as a man, to, you know, to get that part of your life. Because in life there's a pie chart and there's a percentage of it that, you know, and if it starts to close in, then depression sets in and then you start to implode like acid. So I feel like we need outlets as a people. We need to, well, I would say personally, find your outlet. Find out, like, you know, what makes you happy. Sometimes it's simple things like nature. You know what I mean? Like, my cousin just takes rides. He just gets in the car and just goes, you know, to kind of free his mind from stuff. My brother plays basketball all the time, you know, so I feel like we have to find those outlets and not Donkey Kong each other. Like, you got a problem, so what, you know?
I feel like, you know, like you guys have said a lot, I was getting ready to say, but for me, the beginning of it for me is something that we kind of touched on it before, but the beginning of it for me is letting go of who you think you are. And that's something that a lot of us are not willing to do. And it's weird because, and I'm gonna go back to why I said that. I said that because when I was at Davis, we had like a black men's group that we met on like Wednesdays, and we would talk about our issues and stuff like that. But, you know, even though it's a space for you to be open and to let out those feelings, nobody's letting out those feelings. Nobody's going to be honest about that because there's a certain masculinity and strength that's attached to black masculinity, and once you step outside of that, now you're not a nigga, you know, or you're not tough, or you're not strong. It's okay to cry, you know. I'm black. I'm a black man. I'm black. I'm African. I'm Nigerian, but I'm still John. I'm still Amy. I'm my own individual person. I'm a human being, and I have feelings. I have emotions, and I get sad. And I think the reason why I said let go of who you are is because the reason why black folks or rich folks or whoever, not that those are mutually exclusive, but you guys get my point. The reason why these people have their specific issues is because they are attached to something. For example, if they say that, oh, why do Caucasians that have elevated a certain level of society, why they're so susceptible to suicide and certain things like that? Because once you socialize yourself to a certain point, you have to maintain that. So when you're up at that point, that's why you see them killing their family members and all that stuff. I'm just saying, white folks, rich folks in general. So it's not a blanket statement, but it's just one of those things. So you attach yourself to that. As a black man, and I'm not trying to put other people down, but I'm educated enough to know that therapy is definitely important, it's definitely needed, and it's not something you should run away from. But even me, I know better. I'm still running away from. I'm not running away from it. I'm like, therapy is like, I'm nuts, I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But all it is me just opening up and expressing and saying what it really is, and someone who's been trained to be receptive to that. And I think that we run from those things that are gonna save us, that other people go to openly, like, oh yeah, I'm doing therapy, and we've traditionally viewed therapy as somebody who's crazy, we have problems. But don't we all have issues and problems?
Right.
My thing is, I'm not a trained career counselor, right? So, but I've worked as a career counselor through, the EDD, and God bless the therapist, but the United States of America, the reality of the therapist is, even the therapist needs a therapist.
Absolutely. We need each other.
Absolutely.
Frazier.
You know,
Say it. I'm sure you sometimes
the therapist needs a therapist, and this is the thing. I think it all goes back to the foundation, right? What you said makes a lot of sense. When you attach yourself to something that you believe you are,
Yeah.
that goes back to what I was saying about the zero,
Yeah.
ground zero, right? We've been friends for a while. We met on some comedy stuff, but you more than I have opened up even more, right? Because I'm a little bit more shell, right? But I know why it's important. I always say this, right? I don't care how grown we become. I don't care who my wife is. I don't care whoever. My house, in my mind, even if people need to sleep under the rug, people gonna sleep under the rug. The reason why I'm saying this is because I know the reality of my community, at least in Los Angeles, California. Right? I know that I wake up in the morning, I have a good job, but it's different. You know what I'm saying? It's at least I have the vision of hope, and I have already told myself from day one, respect 100 and 0 the same way. So even if you're a doctor or a plumber picking garbage and poop, respect both the same exact way, because you can become either or.
Right.
And amongst people, do not tell yourself, this is only me. That's a bloody lie. And that is something I had to learn myself. After working as a career counselor, after working in the bank, I saw a lot of different stories, and I was like, you know what? Gauge yourself. Also, we have the advantage that we've been to Nigeria. We've lived in Nigeria, so we're able to gauge two things. We're able to look at America like, you know what? Yes, America is tough. Yes, I'm depressed here. But once I switch on that Nigerian perspective, I'm like, oh yeah, I've lived where it's worse than where I am right now. The Americans don't really have that though. And the American system is built for you to fall into depression.
Absolutely.
Debt. Economy. Freaking, marriage. So many things that...
Who's at the bottom of the totem pole on those things?
Come on, man.
So
it's us.
Okay.
And that's
We're the strongest.
Of course. And not just that, because I always say America's a big Las Vegas, and the truth of the matter is a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but the blacks are the guinea pigs. America's an experiment, and we are the experiment mice. So anything that's going to go wrong, anything that's being tested, we are the first ones, But that's besides the point. As far as depression is concerned, from a black man's perspective, I've been to Atlanta, I've been to a lot of places, and I know a lot of people are going to comment with this. We're not a monolith, I get it, but if things are tough in the world, it's always tougher for the black dude. And there is nothing more depressing for a man than feeling like you cannot provide, feeling like you're worthless. There is nothing more depressing than that fact, because your ego is directly attached to you being able to go out there and hunt, right? And when so many doors are closed, and not only are the doors closed, but so many traps are set, and not only traps are set, but it's like it's so unique to the black man's experience.
When I'm at work, right? I'm sorry. When I'm at work, I'm usually laughing. I'm a very happy, playful person, but I'm usually laughing and stuff like that. My job's not easy though. But the thing about it is, if you've ever heard the term, we laugh to keep from crying. So that, if anybody's ever seen the documentary, Why We Laugh, it documents the beginning, going all the way back to Amos and Andy, all the way down to Kevin Hart. And it documents how our stories have made us, because you only have one or two choices, really. And when situations like this happen, am I going to be depressed about this? Am I going to look at it and smile and say, you know what, whatever? Because when I look at our situation, yeah, we're not a monolith. Yeah, we're not that, but we deal with the same things a lot of times across the board, and we have same complexities. For example, at work, I'm a black man, but then I'm a black man dealing with issues as a regular man, and then also dealing with issues as a black man on top. So it's like layers to the complexities, and in my mind, I'm like, I need to support, like, let's say I have a family, so I have to support my family. At the same time, I'm a black man, so I gotta watch the landmines. These are the things that drive you crazy. You can't, and if you can, there's no outlet to discuss it to anybody, you lose it. And this is just for me as a black man. I can't speak because I know the black woman is a whole other dimension of headache. But as a black man, I know what the weight of as a man is on my shoulder. So to have that on top of the complexities of life, and have it on top of the way the world is today, and have it on top of the society and the economics of what's going on, it's just like you're gonna lose it.
Yeah.
And you don't have any outlet. You can't talk to anybody. If you start complaining, it's like being a man.
I mean, that's, yeah.
I think that what people also need to realize, just to piggyback on what you and Amy said, is the fact of living life and living life to please others. It's really key and it's very important. I think we live, especially in America, people are so quick to always try to impress, try to make others happy to the extent of sacrificing their own souls and their own happiness. It shouldn't be that way. And that's how depression actually kind of starts about. Living in this quote-unquote status that you feel like you have to maintain. Life is a journey, I always say. And along the journey, there are going to be some failure moments. And it is for you to realize success comes with failure. There is no one that has succeeded in life that didn't fail. So yeah, okay, you made it, you're a doctor now, you had your business, and you're at this point, okay, things went down and you're back to ground zero, you don't have anything. That's not to say that you're supposed to take your life. It's actually a testimony. For me, being a Christian, I always look at it as, okay, this is a testimony of greater coming along. So it's not so easy for everyone to be able to easily bounce back, but I always say, it's also makes it easier if your spirituality with God is a little bit strong too, because if you are in that space of mind, so that kind of helps you handle things differently. I think also when that lacks in people's life, it makes it more difficult, especially when you're getting advice from people who are not so spiritual either. They just, it's like it's adding pain to your pain that you're already going through. So I think, living for yourself, understanding that failure is going to happen despite where you are in life, makes you understand that, okay, if I get to the point whereby I feel like I'm getting in this mode of depression, which I don't believe there's a medication for depression, honestly. I always just feel like it's you as an individual being able to understand what the problems are that you're going through, mapping it out, sitting there and strategizing and saying to yourself, okay, get a grip, life happens. This is what's going on now. I need to just figure out how can I control this? How can I solve this problem? Because at the end of the day, taking those pills is just going to make it worse. It's not solving anything. It's not bringing about the solution of maybe you lost your job and getting another job back. It's just putting you more in depression mode. And I think that people market those pills more as a way of making money. I don't believe in them at all. Yeah. And I don't advise anyone to take those depression pills. I mean, if you do want to, hey, fine. If it's subscribed by a doctor and you believe so much in your doctors, be my guest. But I think if people really understand their purpose of existence, understand who they are, and understand the fact that, I don't have to live for you or you or you. People are going to have their opinion regardless of what it is that you're doing with your life. Whether it's good and bad, they always have something they want to say. So to me, the way I look at life is, an opinion is something we all have, and guess what? I analyze it in a very extreme way. I'm not even going to go there, but I'll spare you guys that. But it is something that everyone has. It's for you to choose which one you want to listen to and which one you even want to consider. People are going to have stuff to say out of their mouth. It's for you to choose what you want to listen to. You are the owner of your ears. You choose what you want to filter and what you don't want to filter.
The owner of your ears. I love that.
It's like, come on, you can't allow someone else's statement to control your life. And to me, it gets so deep to the fact that you can say something, and my life now has become controlled by the statement that you made. And it's so funny. Words can actually lead people to depression too. It's not always a case whereby someone's life is going,
Words can.
Yeah.
Mama.
They can.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll go to deeper. We had a conversation this morning.
It absolutely can.
And I'm
you don't think it can?
Not only it can.
Right.
We talked about being men and being able to support women. And I said something about the biggest fear, one of the biggest fears I have, because I've been around when women are discussing men who have not been able to get ahead.
Jesus.
The worst thing I would ever want to hear my name amongst is a group of women. We don't want to talk about this on camera, but I'm only in the black community, I'm only in the Nigerian community. I've heard it multiple times from men who, maybe they're lazy, who knows, but they're just not here. I've heard how their names are used in a group of women.
It's not good.
It's not cool.
It's not good.
You don't want to be that guy.
It's not good.
If we talk about depression and suicide, my God, just kill yourself. You don't want to be that guy. For real. We're going to go there. We're going to go there. Okay.
So I think we haven't really
We'll go
touched
deeper.
on what are the causes that are leading to this depression.
Right. I was gonna say, I was gonna piggyback off of what you said, Emma. It's like the opinions of others. Who's around you is very, very important. Like if they say you're the common of 5 of your friends, you're the common denominator of all 5 of
You
those
become
people.
the average.
You're the average of them. So if you have friends and family, some of our families have become more of like friends to us as well. If everybody around you is trying to keep up with the Joneses, or there's a facade there's all of this around you, then you're around things that aren't giving you life, and you're not giving it life. So in order for you to even see life as what it really is, you got to look at who's around you. Who's in your top 5 on your phone. If you go through your text messages, who do you text the most? What are you texting about? Facebook, I call it fake book. But who do you comment on, and whose comments are you paying attention to? So I think it has a lot to do with who's around you and like who you deposit into. If I deposit into somebody who doesn't give me any feedback, or their feedback is not really like you're not really saying anything to me, then iron sharpens iron. That's my number one. So if I call you and say, hey, I'm really going through blah blah blah, and you're on the phone like, hey, did you see that thing the other day? Or just not even connecting to what I'm saying, or you stay in the pit with me. Yeah, times is rough, and you're not giving me life. Like I'm gonna implode because I don't have an outlet. Once again, you have to have somewhere to let that stuff out. Because like we all are saying, we go out in the world, it's a battlefield. It's a battlefield anyway, right? But it's a battlefield because you're a black man, because I'm a black woman, because you're African, because I'm hippie, because, I got, my eyes are chinky, my hair is this way, or I speak this way, or I walk in the room. One guy told me, you walked in the room like you owned it. I said, because I do. I was doing my music, so of course I said I'm supposed to do that. Like I'm not supposed to come in like this, So I feel like you have to take like who you are, and first of all know who you are in it, And if you don't know, then
Find out.
I suggest you be very, very quiet. This is actually something I told my friend. I said, listen, when you go to your new job, you just sit there and pay attention. Don't say nothing. Pay attention to everything around you. Because as soon as you come into a situation and next thing you know, it's like, oh, you got yourself involved in something. So when life, I'm going to compare it to when you go out into the world, you don't know what the world's going to greet you with. So just usher yourself into it. Really quiet, pay attention. Vibrations are happening everywhere. See who's really talking to you. What are they saying? What are they asking? Why are they asking? What's the relevance? You know what I mean?
I was going to say something on what you were saying about opinions. We all have, I think, and it really, to me, there's so many reasons why. We're going to get into that, but for me, one of the biggest things is what you were saying about perspectives and different perspectives. Oftentimes, whenever I get the most upset or look down on myself, is when I start to take on a perspective of somebody else or something that doesn't apply to the way I'm living my life and what I'm trying to accomplish in my life. And that's why I said let go of who you think you are, because I'm Nigerian, I'm this, I'm that. I'm supposed to be doing this by this certain time. Dude, that's not my route, dude. Everybody has their own route, and everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own thing. So the minute I look to my right, that's when it's done. When I run my own race and do my own thing and focus, then I don't have to worry about what this is about what I'm doing. And I'm focused on myself. And like you said, if you know yourself, these things are not discussions because you already know what time it is. I know that I'm not the dentist. I'm who I am. And they're who they are. And and I think, like I said, letting go of who you think you are for me is major, because once you attach yourself to some sort of identity, then you limit yourself to certain things. You know, because now, even like I said, even right now, I'm sitting there like I know that there's certain things that I should address, but I can't address them openly, because if I address them openly, I'm not. It's not going to be received a certain way. So there's things like I can't speak up on certain things, and then even if I could, it's like what can I do? Then lastly, I also feel like there's a level of information. So if I don't know how to help myself, then I'm going to feel helpless. I'm going to feel hopeless. What was Obama selling? Hope. If I don't feel like when there's nothing left, there's hope. And if I don't have hope, that's it.
I'm gonna say something that is factual, right? I look at things logically a lot. Right? I'm always looking at the logistics of things. It is not going to be a surprise if worldwide in the next 5 to 10 years, 10% of the population just kill themselves.
Quickly, too.
I'm just going to be real.
Like a wave of
suicide and depression.
I agree.
Because logistically, right, things don't make sense right now at all. People can't sustain themselves right now worldwide, right? Because the America I live in right now is the Nigeria I used to live in. Now imagine what Nigeria is right now. So it's going to be a wave of logistically, it just makes sense unless there's a new wave of provisions or like there's a new wave of support or there's something to do like work-wise or income-wise. There's going to be a wave of people just leaving Earth because logistically that is literally what is going to happen. It's not anything about what we want to say about, think about who you are. It's just logically going to happen that way. Factor, so... Then you throw us in there. Exactly. Yeah. That's why I always say this. I always talk about the bottom reality. Exactly. Because I don't know if it's a fear thing. I don't know if it's because I'm by myself, my parents are elsewhere, but I'm always aware, eyes wide open, what is the next step? And it's not to climb this ladder, but it is
to sustain.
It is to sustain, because if you don't, mentally you will lose your mind. And we are talking about it from a more affluent level, right? At least the level that we are. Now think about the people who don't even have access to understanding how to dissect that emotion or that thought process. Or like we're talking about opinions. We have people who wake up in the morning, and I'm talking about, let's not even go into the favelas in Brazil or like, let's not even go there. Let's talk about somebody who lives in North Hollywood, California. Like literally has no access. Because somebody actually told me this the other day. She said, I think you give adults too much credit about being adults. Like you give adults too much credit. You think adults think like adults too much, right? That's what she told me. And it's a fact, because we might think this way because we're exposed, and there are people who are looking at us like they didn't even know how to think. But now imagine the lower grade. They don't have access to thinking about freeing themselves or just being able to vent. Right. There are a lot of people. A lot of people.
Can I just say something real quick? Go ahead. Oh no, I was going to say that just real quick. When I'm working in a classroom with students, this is a small thing. This will give you an idea of what I think is also happening. When I'm working with African American young black boys in the classroom, there are times when there's a level of anxiety and stress and just being distraught, and they cannot articulate it at all because they're kids. between 12 and 13, some are 14, and even at that age, you're not in a space to really let me break down what I'm saying, how I feel, unless you're being poked and prodded to do so. So that doesn't change for a lot of black men as they get older. They hit 35, 40, they still are dealing with issues that they cannot express.
What is that?
It's
This is
because,
what I was
go ahead.
finish.
No, all I was going to say was, the reason why you can't express it is because you're never in a space where it's comfortable for you to express that. Because
it never is.
Because
even for us, we just do it.
You're a woman.
You're never ever available to just say, okay, honestly, I don't understand this, but this and that, and I'm not getting the same attention. I kind of feel like this teacher doesn't really like me because I'm so and so. They can't say that because they're kids.
And they don't even understand
what's going on with the
Mine
dynamics.
Mine says it, and I'm like, well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
like,
like
I mean,
express
this
yourself.
goes back to the whole aspect of the foundation thing. It starts from a child's childhood. You know, the way we were raised in the African community is extremely, actually, so difficult to actually sit down and have open conversations with your parents, because they have this mentality that, you know, there's nothing like depression, there's nothing like having a bad day. The moment you walk through the door, it's like, oh, you know, what's going on with school? Have you done this, and this? It's never, oh, hi, how was your day? Blah, blah, blah. What happened to you today? So in our community, that's a different topic for another day. But what I was going to say is that it goes back to the foundation of the child. Was this child given that room of saying, like, you know, like you do with your child, if there's anything going on, you can open up and talk to me.
Absolutely.
Most parents don't do that. And it's not that they do it intentionally. Sometimes they're just so busy and stressed out with other things going on with their life that they miss it.
Yeah.
You know, and then the child ends up growing in this fear that I can't even express myself, because I feel like if I express myself, I'm going to get in trouble, I'm saying the wrong thing, or I'm going to get punished for actually saying what I'm feeling. So that goes on until someone becomes an adult, and they keep carrying on like that, because now they are adult. Of course, they didn't do that in their childhood. How comfortable is a man going to be when he's already an adult to actually sit down and start staring out to another man? He's going to feel like, you know...
There's really, we can't even go into it because I'm not an expert, but there's some things that as adults we know. There's so many deep seeds, issues that become depression that you can't even say, because it then becomes your identity, right? In a circle of friends or whatever the case may be. But there are deep issues, bruh.
I think I told you I had two friends. One, they're a little older than me, like a year older than me when I was in college still. And they were already like late 20s, early 30s. And one of them, his whole mantra is, I'm black, that I can't do this and do, they're both African American, that I can't do this because I'm black, and the statistics about this say because I'm black, and because I'm black I can't do this because, and I'm not saying he's wrong.
Exactly, thank you.
But it's the approach, that mentality on everything. Now, let me say this. I had another friend, we all knew each other, and he also is African American. He also has a similar background. But his mom instilled in him confidence in himself. Told him that you're handsome. Told him that you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish. Told him that, just instilled those certain seeds into him. Now, when you look at the black community as a whole, as community, but if you look at black folks as a whole, a lot of us,
They always get silent in the moment.
Because it's going to sound too harsh when you tell the truth.
So speak the truth. I'm all about the truth. Sorry if you don't like the truth.
Just
Sorry.
say it. I mean,
you know, I just feel like, no, it's okay.
You know what I mean?
I would like to
You know what I mean?
I want to hear it. I want
You know
to
what I
hear
mean?
it. I want to hear it, and just say what it is.
And just to
Open the
clarify,
can
it's
of
not
worms that
just
we
it's
need
not
to tap.
it's not just a black thing, but the black version of it is fucking deep.
It's just a damaged group of people. And if you don't have a mother or a father that's there to tell you those things, how can you win? How can you even you haven't even begun to, you don't even have the beginning of it. So that's my thing. So if your father, I'm sorry, but if your father's not there, so let's just forget. But he at least had his, just the mom was there just to say, okay, this is it. But if your mom is dealing with the stresses of her own this and that you was talking about earlier, and then is trying to instill this thing, dealing with her, but then how can you lie to your son if you haven't even been told? It's just a vicious cycle.
This is also what
and you just
I
can't
was
leave.
trying to say. Sometimes, but we also, I'm going to get on some parents about this.
Please get on
Life
that.
happens and we all go through things. I've seen my mom and dad go through their own stress. But the mistake that some parents always do is that they take their stress out also on their children. And actually what happens to that child is they end up in their own depression because of you. You know, and some parents need to pay attention to that. When you're going through stress, please do not take it out on your kids. It is not their fault that you have probably made the decisions that you've made, or it is not their fault that you lost a job. It is not their fault that anything that you're going through is happening to you. What I always say is make them the reason as to why you should not end up in the state of depression that you would end up staying, you know, make them the reason why. But I have seen it happen over and over with, and it's not intentional. People don't do it intentionally. You're stressed out, it ends up being taken out on the people that are close to you. That always happens when people are stressed. It's just like when someone is mad, they take it out on the first person.
It's not ABC.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
ABC.
I mean, it's
I'm not saying it's easy.
Trust.
Yeah.
It's not easy,
Absolutely.
but you know, but
I wanted to say something real quick. Like, during this whole conversation, my mind, now I wasn't there, but my mind goes back to like the 40s and 50s and 60s, right? Well, I'm not gonna say 60s. I'm gonna say 30s, 40s, and 50s, when we had nothing. We didn't have that. But for some reason, we were able to, like, it was, 7 people in the house and 2 pair of shoes. You wear the shoes today. You walk up the hill, 5 miles to get the milk or whatever, and we had nothing. You know what I'm saying?
It goes back to what he said about attaching yourself to what you believe you are.
Right. I was gonna say, what is the difference?
the difference now.
And like when I talk to my grandmother, who's 92 years old, and she tells me the stories of, oh my gosh, and she grew up in South Carolina, but she moved to New York, and just what life was like, and how the village did this, and they had the same thing. They had rapists and da 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 da. And I had family members that were strung out on different things, but it was that word we keep using, that hope word.
I'm gonna say too.
It was that, wait a minute, it was the hope word, and it was the, okay, I don't have anything. So I have dirt, and I got some bricks, I'm gonna figure this thing out. Now I'm gonna fast forward to 2010, 12, and I see my young brother on the bus complaining about everything. He got all these kids, and my heart goes out, because I'm like, wow, like I would love to know this person's story more in depth, and what kind of life can I speak into this person? But all I hear them say is what they don't have. And I'm like, well, dang, like my grandmother didn't even have. Her sister shot herself in the head.
That was a
So I just wanted the difference.
Go ahead, and then
Two
I want to
things.
say something.
One, you can only go up from down.
Right.
That's
Somewhere else.
true.
You can't go unless you go to the negative side of the
And he still
line. The only way you can go is up from down. That's number one. Another thing is, there's a saying, you're so smart, you're stupid, right? These days we know too much.
Yeah.
And we have too much.
Exactly.
We
That's why I
speak too
keep
much.
talking about zero.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because you're so smart, you're stupid, you know too much. There's one layer that we have not even touched yet. Social media. That's all.
just about to say that.
I feel like that's that's like the
That's
loaded
so
gun.
That's like this is the guy.
Yeah, it's
But
like a
I was
loaded
gonna
gun.
say, just to kind of answer, as to why you were saying why is it different now from your grandmother's generation. Of course, social media plays a role, and we also have to look at the self-hate that exists. And we're basing this on Black people. There is extreme self-hatred that exists in our community, and what also leads to certain depression is the fact of competition. It's as if we're competing against each other. We're never competing against the white, the Spanish, or the Asian. Whenever we do things, we're looking at what the next person that leaves down the door has, or the next person that leaves away from us. It's always a competition. And then trying to live up to the status of what you can't maintain, of course, is going to lead you to fall into, things that are going to lead you into depression. So it's like, rather than competing with someone whose standards you can't live up to, just try to live as comfortable as you can. And when you can't live up to those standards, live up to those standards. People need to stop pretending to have what they don't have.
Can I just add another angle?
It's
Can I add
like-
another angle too? Because some people are gonna ask about this probably. It's not an excuse, but this is the other side to it. I know that other people are gonna say that the accountability needs to be there. So let me just say first, before I say what I'm getting ready to say, accountability needs to be there. We could do more, we could do for ourselves, and we could have been done for ourselves, but that's like a whole other discussion. But what I will say is that as time has gone on, we have been aggressively attacked over the years. Aggressively attacked. From Vietnam. Vietnam destroyed. People don't understand. Vietnam wiped out black males in the household. Clean out. We never talk about that. These are just little things. As time is going on, once again, we were all well. I was around when during the all this stuff that Hillary Clinton was fighting for, that bill that put all these black men into prison. They were just throwing us in jail for nothing.
Like something this big or like that.
So the depression is not necessarily gonna come from one thing. It could be because it's a rippling effect once again. I don't have a father, so I just have a mother. My mother is stressed out because she has to take care of me and my brothers and sisters. Then she has to carry the weight of the household. Is this it? And then I don't have that. I need a father or I need a mother. I need both of them together. Then money separated both of them, so maybe they're both alive, but money separated both of them, so they can't be together. So it's just like, is this left and right? You cannot win.
Now,
Like I said, there is accountability that can be there.
course,
I'm
of
just
course.
saying there's the other side to it that has affected us big time.
Let's give the perspective of certain things actually. Somebody who doesn't have those stories, right? Somebody who just lives a regular life. Another thing is, I think we should give an example, if anything, of a time that you've experienced that.
Right.
Why?
That's good.
Me personally, the times I've been questioning myself or depressed, right, is when I try to carry other people's cross, right? Like as a Nigerian man, as a man, number one, you have family that you have to live up to, right? You have so many layers of these steps that you have to climb. You have to have a house by this. You have to be married by 30. Me, right? I'm just gonna be honest with that. I'm gonna be real as fuck. 96 Toyota Camry. It's just I drive. Why? Because nobody comes knocking on my door saying you owe me jack. T-Mobile phone, $60 a month. That's what I use. The reason why I'm saying this is because it's supposed to be embarrassing to say that, right? But this is how it works in our community. Somebody here in Los Angeles will be telling me that some kid that is 23 has bought a house in Houston. A house in Houston is $120,000. An apartment in North Hollywood is 300 racks.
Easy.
My depression will be, damn, I need to be like that kid. If I'm smart, I will look at things logistically and say, you know what? The life I live is the life I live. Period. Another thing is, a lot of the people who I thought were the standard, behind the curtain, Dr. Oz, their lives are shit.
That's tea.
Their lives are, and I'm talking about Nigerians. Like, let's not get it twisted. I'm talking about Nigerians.
95.
It goes back to what we said about what they cannot communicate. What I've found out, what I've realized these days is a lot of them now come to me. It's not that I'm an expert, but it's because I've submitted to life that I'm not going to give myself too many steps to climb for ease at all. Because when you bought the new Mercedes, God bless you, it looked great. How much weight was it to carry? Those are the things that I had to tell myself, you know what? Cut that out of your mind. Live the simplest life possible.
You know what? I'm sorry to cut you.
And make yourself available to help other people live this simple life that you live. I'm not saying don't reach for better. Absolutely do. But be realistic about how you sleep, bruh.
The thing about it is, and that's why, I mean, when I moved away from LA, I got a chance to really meet real people. True that. So when I got a chance to meet real people, you start to talk to people and start to say like, so how's it going? Like, man, bro, like, dude, man, I can't, the truth is, You'll be sitting there with $0 in your bank account. You think you're the only one that has $0 in your bank account. My brothers and sisters, you're not the only one with $0 in your bank account. You're not the only broke person. There's broke people, trust me. We're all struggling.
And he's not joking either.
We're all struggling.
Hey, I'm sorry to do this.
Yeah.
This is a good time to actually mention this. Yesterday, day before yesterday, right now is graduation season. You log on to Facebook, everyone is getting lost. You know, God bless, right? And if we want to talk about depression,
Yeah, good
I could sit back and be like, damn, what am I doing with my life? But then I'm like, you know what? No, enjoy it. Because I know how much that costs.
Yeah.
And God bless you that you'll find a great job. But if I'm looking at logistics correctly in this economy, in this current world, return of investment, it's probably not working to your advantage.
Does it
right now.
work for you?
At this moment?
I mean, with that, I always say there are ways you can go about getting education whereby you don't have to take a lot of student loans. If you use your brain and your intelligence enough, of course you have to have some.
I'm just saying, these are different examples.
Yeah,
right?
and that's one of those things. People get all those degrees and you're stuck with student loans, but hey, thank God.
That depression is real though.
It's a real life thing.
But
Yeah, because
Depression.
what you think, like it's the lie. It's exactly what we've been saying. It's like you, just like I listen to AM radio, and there's a guy, Bill Handel. He's an attorney. He's so honest. His honesty is wonderful. So he's been practicing 15, 20 years. So people call, attorneys, whatever, paralegals, whatever. And he's like, you gotta, are you an attorney? He's like, no job. And the guy's like, what do you mean? He's like, no job. You're not gonna have a job. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, some of the top, law firms, they don't hire. You know what I mean? Like they don't have enough to go around. He's like, so all that money you've invested, you're big brain, and it's so real.
But you know how real that is though? And now if you want to connect this to the black community,
It's even deeper.
I don't want to say
What percentage is
education
black?
is not the good thing to do. But I always go back to the logistics of
I mean,
it.
you have to,
I'm like, yo, you always say bottom line.
Bottom line.
And again, this topic is depression. So this is not everything that causes depression. We're just giving different things that come to mind.
Yeah.
This is a live show.
like real examples.
But that is one.
Yeah.
That debt. I mean, maybe we should talk about what causes these things.
Yeah.
From my perspective, it is when you don't know where you're going, when you're just roaming,
Yeah.
right? Or when you actually have no chance to roam.
Yeah.
When you're just stuck in your own mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And the logistical fact is that you can't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I'm saying about people just going to start falling off earth pretty soon because realistically, there's not enough food for everyone to be sustained on this.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Not the way it's set up right now.
Exactly, not the way it's set up right now, but how I think one can deal with it is how people are organically dealing with it. Is communities, little communities are being formed.
Yeah.
5 people will be living in a 1-bedroom apartment. It's what's happening. Different things like that. We'll go into this topic a lot deeper next time.
Right.
But it's number one. The way I will handle it is I gotta be real with myself, bro. I cannot lie to myself at all. The things that keep me sane is I always think to myself, okay, now you live in Los Angeles, California. Live the simplest life you can live, save money, and understand that there are other states you can live in where you can own homes. Because those are the things that, as a man, it comes to your mind, okay, I gotta own sometimes. But there's so many different layers. It is up to you to try your best. I'm not gonna say it's easy to get out of it, because it's really, really hard, depending on the perspective you have. Try your best to step away, take your soul out of your body, and look at everything in front of you.
Yeah, it's right.
That's the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
Whether you pray to God, Allah, Buddha, whatever it is, the main thing is spiritual. So whatever moves your spirit, get out of your body and literally look at things realistically. Because being depressed in Los Angeles is different from being depressed in Cleveland, Ohio. That's a whole other depression.
Oh God.
Detroit. Lagos, Nigeria. There are different layers of depression.
Bangladesh.
So, Jesus Christ. That's kind of where I live right now, but
Are we closing?
I don't know. Go.
I was actually gonna say, because you were saying about the time that you were depressed or feeling outside yourself.
Yeah, you brought that up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay. No, I got you. I actually didn't even realize that I was depressed until I was out of it, because I'm such a, tough skin, and I'm out in the world, and but I did not. I lost my song, and ever since I was born, came out. I'm singing and banging on stuff and creating, but it was gone. It was like somebody shot the bird, and the bird is gone. So. I said, whoa, like this is bad. Like something's wrong right now. Like I can't create and sing, and I didn't even feel like myself. So I did something drastic. I had locks, same length as yours. So I cut my hair because I had to change my energy. I knew, I said, you know what, like something wasn't right. I didn't really share it with anybody. I just had my son, and you know, relationship was fine. But I didn't know myself. Like I actually was looking at myself like, who are you? So when I did something drastic, it was almost like a wind of new life came on me. And I lived in the same house doing the same thing, but I dealt with it differently. I said, wow, I was really depressed. And then I retracted. I said, oh, that happened and that. So that if it was to happen again, then I would recognize the signs, you know, when I started to like stay to myself and not really speak to anybody, and I wouldn't write anything, and I wasn't singing anywhere, and people would ask me to do stuff and I didn't do it, and I'm like, no. So I had to do something drastic, and I actually shared that with a family member of mine, and I said, you know, well, what I did was I did the most drastic thing I could do that didn't harm myself or anybody. You know, some people may go skydiving, I don't know, whatever it is that gets you, that jolts you
I'm
to
very
say.
selfish with my energy.
Oh,
I'm
extremely.
I don't give a fuck who you are.
And it's important to be that way.
Very selfish. If it's not working for my energy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We ain't got to be in the same room because you got to listen to yourself.
Depression to me. Oh, so you want to say something? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say depression to me is okay. First of all, let me say this: I was definitely going through a lot of depression because of the fact that I was trying to live up to something that I wasn't supposed to be living up to, and I spent a lot of energy trying to be someone that I was not, and taking on perspectives that didn't apply to me, and quite frankly didn't apply to this society, in this era, in this generation. And I think when I went through the dark moments, that's when the light comes. The depression is not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, because what it does is it highlights to you things that need to change, things that you need to focus on. All the things that are happening to you that are negative, you know, they're not there. They're bothering you for a reason. You know, there are moments when and the depression could even come from bits of jealousy and envy. And then to root that is that envy and jealousy is coming from a space of that's something that I want. It's not bad to be jealous and envious of somebody.
Makes you better.
But it's bad when you sit there and stew and ruminate over this jealousy and envy, and then you're like trying to, you know, but when
Like
you
your auntie? I'm sorry.
Well, when you finally take it upon yourself to focus in on the fact that I'm a lonely auntie and I want a man. Well, I'm using your example now.
You know what? That should be another topic.
Okay, but that's what I'm jealous of, the fact that you have that. So what do I need to do to go and get that? So I'm not saying that everybody has to do the same thing, but if I know that I need to step up my game, I'm not trying to, whatever that means to you, step up my game. You step up your game, whatever you need to do. If I'm depressed, well, I can't seem to find this. What can you do as an individual to help that situation?
Right.
And there's always something you can do.
Always something. Always.
I mean, I personally have not been through depression, and I pray that never happens. And I think it's because I'm really extremely a strong individual. I always say I'm the toughest out of my family, because whenever they come to me with problems, I tell them, dust it up and bounce back. It's like, I don't want to hear any other excuses. But not everyone is that way, and of course the world has to be that way. We all can't be on the same platform.
Exactly.
And what people need to realize, that in this world there are going to be the poor people, they're going to be the middle class, and they're going to be the rich folks. God already has our destiny predestined for us. He knows where we're going to end up at. It's for you to dig deeper and have an understanding of where you're trying to go in life. You can't be Oprah if that's not what God has mapped out for you. It's okay to be okay with where you are and want to do better, rather than jealousy. It's okay, but being jealous of the wrong person is not a good thing either. You have to be jealous of the right person. It's okay to be jealous of Oprah, but at the same time you can use her as an aspiration to get to where you're trying
And
to get
another
to.
thing to keep in mind is you probably don't want to carry the cross she carries.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I was just about to say, this. before you start being envious of people or jealous of people, you don't know what their struggles have been. You don't know the pain they've gone through. You don't know their failures. You don't know the journey that they've been through for them to be where they are. So when you see them enjoying whatever it is that they have, or when you see them in that status that you desire as well, maybe you should ask yourself, what do they have to go through to get to where they are?
Can I say something?
Are you willing to make those sacrifices? Are you willing to carry that cross? Are you willing to bear those pains? Because if you're not, then you might want to just be, you know what, God, I thank you for where I am, and I will do as best as I can to move farther as I can. But, and that's what people never look at. You're always desiring someone else's life, but reality is, if they tell you their story, you'll be like, never mind. I don't think I want to go through that.
Right.
What were you just saying?
You gotta kind of wrap it
No,
up.
but I was gonna say something about man, you were talking about what were you just saying?
In terms of desiring other people.
Okay, so this is the thing. I agree with you 98%. This is the one thing I would disagree with you though. I also believe that the desires that you have are there for a reason.
Of course.
Right.
You want to do certain things for a reason. I love attention for a reason. There's a reason why that I grew up wanting, and now I'm able to manage it a little bit better. But when I was younger, oh my God, there's a reason why I wanted that attention, because that was somehow connected to my destiny, somehow connected to my purpose. So the reason why I'm bringing this up in this depression thing is because when you really look into yourself, because she was just talking about finding yourself and knowing yourself. When you really look into yourself and you stay focused on who you are, it won't be that hard to figure things out and sort through things. Now, sometimes things are circumstantial. You'll be going through some tough times. It's life. But if you focus in on who you are and what you were meant to do, because I know that there's a reason why I like to do certain things, the reason why I like to make people laugh. There's
a reason why God blessed you with that talent.
With those talents.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing this, you don't want to be in the same house with me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's literally that is, if I don't have this outlet, right, that is my depression.
Yeah.
When I'm thinking about life daily, when I go to work, work is a lot smoother because I can do this when I want.
This is happening.
But don't be the person to stop this,
right,
or any form of this.
Don't try.
This is my zen.
Wow.
Don't be the one.
Please don't enter.
That's where that depression line is.
Yeah.
So I guess all in all, we've come back to is that zen portion of it. Maybe I'm just too logical or whatever the case may be. I do know, because of the times we're facing right now, the reality is a lot of people are going to go through some unhelpable situations that are just going to be pretty devastating because there's a lot of factual negativity in the world, and there's just in tough times right now. Those of us who are fortunate, I think it is important for us to give back to Earth or to the world what we can, because a lot is being taken from it. And I don't want to sound like a hippie or anything, but I can't say don't be depressed, because some people have a reason to be.
Absolutely.
It's just the fact.
It's a temporary.
But to end on a good note,
are we concluding?
I'm gonna just conclude with this.
Okay.
Everybody said everything I want to say, but on a positive note, I believe that the world is elevating that vibration just a little bit, year by year.
I agree.
Now, I still believe we're a garbage species because we kill each other. We're stupid people. But at the same time, I believe that we're elevating as human beings.
Consciously.
We're constantly growing. It's good.
We're going to Mars.
I just wanted to add that it is very important, it's very key, as you go through the process of life, really know who you're surrounding yourself with. Because you might be that strong individual who actually cannot see yourself in a state of depression, but because of who you associate yourself with, because of the so-called influence, you might actually find yourself in that state. So know who your true friends are, know who you can share your problems with, know who really has your back. You can tell when someone gives a damn when they don't give a damn. It's not everyone that you have to open your mouth to explain to them what your problems are. At the beginning of the conversation, you can tell whether they're interested in knowing. And please be careful who you take advice from. I always say this: if you cannot switch life with that individual, if you cannot live the life they live in, don't take advice from them. It's as simple as that. It's not everyone that you need to take advice from. Because take a good look at their life, analyze their life, and analyze the advice that they're giving you. Honey, if you can't live the life that they live in, if you don't desire the life that they live in, their advice is should be worthless. That's what I call it.
Comments?
How's it coming?
Well, maybe we should like invite some actual therapists.
Oh, sure.